What a game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Shout out to Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for Philly. Absolutely played and called a masterful game. Right now, while I'm making this video, it's 40-6. There's still some time left, but this game is over. And it's absolutely crazy that the Kansas City Chiefs got demolished like that by the Eagles. And give credit where credit is due. The Eagles played phenomenally. Josh Sweat, Cooper DeJean balled out. I mean, even Jalen Hurts had a pretty damn good game, if you ask me. Um, they really took it to him. They had the momentum from the very beginning, and they never let it go. They felt like the more aggressive team. They felt like the team that was more sharp and locked in, and it just felt like it got away from the Chiefs really early, and their body language and everything just it felt really bad. Obviously, heading into halftime with 0 points, and the Eagles being up so much, just absolutely crazy. But I know for 49er fans, like this is probably one of the worst, you know, available outcomes of the Super Bowl being Chiefs Philly because 49er fans don't want any of these teams to win. But honestly, it it watching this game, I think it really it really made sense to me how much I don't like the Kansas City Chiefs. And, just because they beat the 49ers in two Super Bowls. That's pretty much my only reason. And I just really my level of disdain for the Eagles is significantly less. I don't love the Eagles by any stretch of the imagination, but I really don't like the Chiefs, and as you know why. So, just to I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. I was expecting a much closer game. I was expecting another kind of back and forth nail biter performance, pretty similar to what they did the last time they met up a couple years ago, but just absolutely insane how this whole game played out. And I've seen a lot of 49er fans basically saying, like, well, why couldn't have this Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs show up last year like this, right? Hey, man, it's just luck of the draw sometimes. That's why they say, sometimes you got to be lucky in the NFL to do, timing matters, all those things. And the Eagles, hey, they lost the Super Bowl, right? Not that long ago to the Chiefs, then came back and won. So I also tweeted about this. I kind of feel like I don't love saying this either, but the Philadelphia Eagles are the blueprint for the 49ers and how they draft, how they really make sure that their trenches are stout and just really drafting high-end players. I don't understand how they keep getting away with it, but when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles drafts in the first 3 rounds, over the last like 3 to 4 years, like they're all starters. It's remarkable. And when with the 49ers, it's almost like the inverse. It's almost like the first 3 rounds are just a total crapshoot. And you really don't know who you can count on out of that. And all the starters have come from the middle rounds and beyond. So that really is the blueprint is basically the 49ers need to start hitting on these early draft picks. Pick 11 coming up, obviously a high second round pick at 43. You need to hit home runs here. You need starters with those draft picks, and you need to develop them and really make sure that they're homegrown and can continue to grow in the system. And part of that reason too is because they're on rookie pay scales. So that allows you to pay your top end talent and have production from cost controlled young players for the next couple of years. And they just really have had a hard time with getting a ton of contribution from the draft classes. Now, it's not to say that it hasn't happened. And you look at last year's draft, absolutely fantastic. So let's do that again. And let's get some high end talent, if that means through the draft, through free agency, or a trade, they need to do something. They need to go, I keep saying it, all in. They have a foundation that is strong enough where I think they can be aggressive and quickly get back on track. And I think that's what they should do. I talked to Tariq Owens for about 15 minutes at the Super Bowl, and we were just talking about last year. And he's like, inside that locker room, we don't feel like we're that far away. We feel like the margins of errors and how we lost a bunch of games was super thin, and that's with all the injuries that they had suffered and everything that happened off the field, and they were still in a position, up until the Rams game to try to get into the playoffs, right? So he was saying like in that locker room, they don't think they're that far away, and we know they have to make certain moves. They have to make key additions. It's not just going to snap your fingers and they're just going to return to dominance, but I think they're close. And if they can do and build the roster kind of similarly to how Howie Roseman has done it with the Eagles, that's what you got to do, man. The Eagles roster looks great right now. I mean, it's currently 40-12. Um, little under 3 minutes left to play in this one, and like I said, the Eagles are going to win this one. So the 49ers play in Santa Clara. Perfect time to push the chips all into the center. Make sure that you build a roster that can compete with anyone. And I looked across the league and watching the playoffs. It still doesn't feel like the 49ers were that far off. I mean, if they could just get out of their own way and reduce some of the injuries that they suffered, they absolutely could have at least brought some fight to these playoff teams. So I think a year of adversity, especially after coming off a devastating Super Bowl loss and everything that they went through, a chance to get away, kind of escape it, recalibrate, and lock back in and just wipe the slate clean. I think that could do a lot for everyone on that roster, and bringing in guys like Saleh, bringing in guys like Gus Bradley, Brant Boyer, bringing in new staff to kind of give a bit of a facelift, to the environment. Not to say that the environment is stale, but I think just being able to rotate in some new voices, some new leaders, some new energy, I think could go a long way. So it'll be fascinating, but I really do think that the key target and focus of this offseason needs to be trenches. It needs to be fortifying the defensive line and offensive line by any stretch. It just has to happen. It has to happen. And you saw that the teams that were most successful in the postseason had good offense and defensive line. It will always be that way. Yes, you want to have phenomenal skill positions, but boy, you can't do much of anything if you don't have good trenches. So that's what I think we should do. I think that's what everyone thinks we should do. But hey, man, let me know what you think about Kansas City Chiefs going down. Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.